Welcome to Stuff and Things Podcast, Weeb Edition.
Nope.
There we are.
I like that.
That's a good intro.
Yeah.
That's a good episode title right there.
With me, always, Christian LaPrade.
Hey,
We got,
we had two guests this week, really.
yes,
I mean, Devin's been here, but this
we
is
got
Devin.
our local wizard and vape shop employee.
Devin
Devin.
Basham.
Absolutely. We've got, raise my mic. All right, there we go.
Just you got to get right in there on the
And
mic.
with us, a new guest,
Longtime friend,
absolutely, Corey Sutphin,
American hero.
I've been
anime expert.
I've been in. I'm not really an expert, but I've been in the shack a couple times,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's true.
this is the first time on a podcast. So
Well, welcome. We're glad
The
to have
original Shack days.
yeah, before the podcast.
you. Yeah. So this week we're going to talk about anime.
Our most favorite thing.
That's definitely the one thing that all four of us have in common.
More of a hobby,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. It's not even a pastime. It's a working hobby.
It is.
You got to keep up
At
with
this
everything.
point, I feel like it's probably a habit.
Yeah.
More than
Yeah.
Anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even have cable anymore.
And
I
you're
really
still
don't.
on it.
I don't know.
I don't
I
have
haven't used cable in a long time,
No.
just because my
I-
PC, I can find anything I want to
I haven't
watch.
had cable in 2 years.
I have it, but just because other people in the house
Yeah.
use it, I don't
Same.
give a damn about it.
So I guess we'll start at the beginning. Like we were talking about before we got going, how each of us got into anime, like where it all began for each of us. So Corey, we can start with you if you want.
I'll go ahead. I'd say, let's see.
What was the first thing you remember ever watching? Like first
The
anime?
first show that I watched was a show that I got influenced by that everybody's probably seen by now. It's good.
Yeah, those arms.
Are you
raised,
good?
Fantastic.
You good now?
Yeah.
Okay, the first show that I probably had really watched and that got me into it was One Punch Man.
Oh,
And I started late. I was also a kid that grew up on Toonami.
right.
Absolutely.
I watched a lot of the Dragon Ball Z, a lot of the shows on like Inuyasha, on Toonami when it was like back in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Really just, but my interest peaked at One Punch Man, and then I was like,
That's a
I know
fantastic
there
show.
has to be more.
Right.
So I started dwelling deep in my buddies Jager and Morgan that I was in band with. They were
Yeah.
both huge anime heads and manga heads, and they really led me in the right direction of the shows that I need to watch, the shows I need to stay away from at the beginning.
Right.
I think everybody has that, especially when you get into this. There's always somebody you go to that's like, these are the shows you watch,
Yes.
and these are the shows you don't
to start
watch.
out
Right.
on.
See, I never
So-
had the mentor.
You just
had to figure it out on
dove
your
straight
own.
in. You just
Yeah.
dove straight in. Yeah. See, I started watching that, and then I went on to a lot of the older shows. Like I watched Cowboy Bebop and a lot of the OG shows, like Fist of the North Star.
yeah.
I watched some of that. I didn't finish that show, but I did watch just to appreciate the art and everything like that, and the meme that it was made out of it.
What was that old show? Berserker or something?
Oh yeah, I watched.
seen
that,
that, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I watched
Yeah.
that show.
That's one thing I've never gotten to
Yeah.
watch. That's on my list.
I
But
binged that show. That was a good show. But yeah, basically my anime career, I guess, journey started.
You almost said career.
Yeah,
it might be one day. You never
I'm
know.
telling
it
you.
really. I mean, it really started with One Punch Man, and I started
Nice.
late. But that's really when I was like, man, this is better than American TV. Really,
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
like I don't even really watch
Japanese cartoons are
I don't even watch
miles
live
beyond
American
American
TV.
cartoons.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
American
so-
sitcoms
Yeah,
versus anime, everything
Yeah.
else.
You get
Yeah.
plot, you get comedy, you,
You
get
really do.
action, you get everything
you get
in a
fan
one
service.
show.
yeah, and
You
if you,
fancy
yeah,
it.
you
Forget
do
that.
almost every show,
When-
and you can pick the genre you want to watch, just like American TV, any kind
Yeah,
of TV. you
I think a
can pick
lot
the
of people
genre.
that don't watch anime, when they think of anime, they think of stuff like Dragon Ball Z, and they think it's
Yeah.
all like fighter anime.
Yeah.
But some of my favorite like slice of life shows, period, have been anime shows. Like
Yeah.
where like there are
really
no
has.
fights, there's no like
It's just-
superpowers. It's just people
it's
living
like
life.
dudes or chicks hanging out
Yeah.
in school, just like living everyday life.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like a random,
Toradora.
like yeah, exactly.
Fantastic
Toradora.
show.
Okay, so go ahead, Christian. I'm taking a
No,
little bit of
talk as
time.
much as you want.
That's it.
We got
I
an
mean-
hour.
I mean, that's it.
Talk it up.
Well,
You want to, Devin?
yeah. I mean, I started out in the '90s actually. I grew up with it. Sailor
Yeah.
Moon, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. You know, I saw that stuff on, you know, Cartoon Network in the morning. Sailor Moon was on, and then at
Yeah.
night they would throw on, you know, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. And I think back then they actually played them at the same time, which was really confusing
Yeah.
for a small child.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Pokemon
is.
came out and stuff like that, and I
Yep.
just kind of got into like, you know, Pokemon brought me into the video game world, and
Yeah.
then that just kind of turned into more anime because at the time Pokemon wasn't completely horrible as a show,
Yeah.
and so.
Oh,
but you know,
man.
Cowboy Bebop.
I mean, you
when I
can't
started staying up
disrespect
late,
Pokemon.
Yeah, OG Pokemon.
Pokemon,
OG was
the
the first-
Indigo,
completely
the
different
Indigo
animal.
series.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
you cannot,
Yes.
cannot disagree that
Pokemon,
show
the
was
first movie,
fantastic.
man.
That was
Beautiful
true.
stuff.
That was truthfully probably the first anime that everybody had watched.
Pokemon. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think everyone.
I'm just
that
throwing
or
that out there.
Yu-Gi-Oh. I'll give.
Yeah,
I'll give
okay.
one of
Yu-Gi-Oh
this
too,
generation.
And you know what?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh is still going on. It is still airing
and
to
it's
this day.
terrible. It is awful. I don't know
And-
what it
and you
is
know what
now,
else-
but I
you
can't
know what
watch
else-
it's
it.
not even the original game.
And you know what
anymore.
else is
Yeah,
airing?
like
Still
throwing dice and
Beyblade.
shit.
Yep.
Beyblade
I
is
saw
still
a commercial for Beyblade the
airing.
other day, and I was like,
Beyblade
"What
is that show is just it is an OG
Yep.
kid show
Yes.
that everybody watched when they were in elementary school. Got up in
Oh,
the
yeah.
morning, watched that show, and it just
I'm
it was
thankful
amazing.
because the time that I woke up before I went to school was like I caught 20 minutes of Dragon Ball Z, and I
Yeah.
watched the entire Frieza saga. Like I remember it was, I think
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
my 4th or 5th grade year of elementary school.
Oh yeah,
I watched every episode of the Frieza saga.
religiously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like talking to all my friends about that shit, and they're like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Fucking Dragon Ball Z."
Yeah. I mean, they didn't get it.
Yeah, they're just
They
like,
didn't get it.
"What?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
I was just saying.
"Kamehameha."
Yeah,
I remember, I think it was the early teens. I was sitting around, like I would, because Dragon Ball GT would air when I was still at school.
Yeah.
Or, you know, on the way
Yeah.
there, on the way home or something like
Yeah.
that. And so I remember every day when I would get home, I would pop the VHS in and play the recorded episode
Yeah.
from that day.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Yep.
Memories.
All right, who's next?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
go
know if
ahead?
we consider it an anime, but I specifically remember it came on Toonami originally, and that's fucking Samurai Jack.
Yeah,
I started with
I think
Samurai
that gets
Jack.
honorary.
that was one
anime
of one of
Yeah.
the original American animes.
Like,
I think.
I think that was
really-
the
I will
first
say that.
anime that America did good.
Yes,
Like
I will say
definitely
that.
one of the first.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
Because I mean, of
We're
course,
gonna
like I
get so
watched
much hate for saying
Pokemon
this,
and
but-
Yu-Gi-Oh, and you know all those things. But I remember it was like it came on Toonami, and I was like, that show looks like it is absolutely
Yeah.
sick. And I
And
watched it and was like, all right, I can get into this. And then I went to Gundam. Love me some mech anime. That shit is fantastic.
See, I'm not too much of a fan of mech anime.
Oh,
hate
dude.
See, that's
mecha.
where the
I just
genres differ.
cannot
Yeah,
do
a lot of people
mecha.
don't like
Yeah.
it.
No,
mech
I'm gonna be
animes.
honest. The only reason I like it is for the simple fact that it is gigantic fucking robots fighting, and you can't not like.
You know,
it.
the only mech anime that I like is Gurren Lagann. What's up?
Look who it is.
It's
Is
a
that Remington?
local stuff and things celebrity.
There's a Remington Stokes in the building.
No, whatever.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah, we're
no
fine.
big deal. Keep going.
Another thing that was definitely influential in anime for me was Miyazaki films,
Yeah.
like Spirited Away and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like
Yup.
that.
Studio
Miss
Ghibli.
Mononoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything.
Princess Mononoke.
Anything
sorry.
Studio Ghibli's good.
fantastic.
It will always be.
But yeah, of course, like Dragon Ball Super now and My Hero Academia and
Shows you follow
One
for life.
Punch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I go all over the spectrum with anime.
Yeah,
and it's
me
just,
too.
It's all fantastic for me.
Yeah, I don't
That's-
pick a certain genre and just stick with it. I
Right.
watch all genres of
Seven Deadly Sins.
Yep.
I've just recently.
I really actually enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm just
I didn't
getting
think I was
like
gonna
about
like
halfway
it.
through it now. It's fantastic.
I have
very
not
good.
watched that.
Yes.
It's worth a watch. It's all right. And
Give it a
definitely
shot.
Attack
Honestly,
on
I
Titan.
love
that
that
was
story.
that was a critical
You
one
know,
for
that
me.
new season comes out July the 8th.
There's another season.
Yep.
July the 8th.
Dude, this summer is a good. That's why I think this is a very
Yes.
good topic to have on a podcast because this summer, 2018,
There's-
is a
there's
summer
some-
of
there's
anime.
some
You're into the
headliners.
Weeb cartoons.
Oh,
There's some-
This
there's
is
some
the
headliners
time
coming
for
up.
you.
There
yeah,
is.
and it's not even like one or
No.
two. It's
It's multiple.
at least
It's there.
5.
New
It's there.
Dragon Ball,
Yep.
and then Super. Now
Yeah.
I'm hearing we're getting a new season of Super. I did not know that was going to happen. I was
Yeah, I
fine where
didn't see
Super
that
ended.
coming.
No.
I was like, okay, yeah.
It's just the beginning.
I think it's because
Everybody knows.
we're-
Well, you do have to think there were the universes that were excluded
I
from
mean,
the tournament and
let me
stuff like that.
look at
It's-
Dragon Ball Z. There's always a tournament
The
arc,
thing is,
and then
Dragon
after
Ball
the tournament
Z
arc,
was supposed
villain
to
arc.
end after Frieza. It was supposed to end after Frieza.
yeah,
It
but
was
we were
supposed
fu-
to end up pretty much every arc.
it didn't. Because everybody loved
Because we're
Yeah.
fucking greedy.
it. Because it made money.
No, because
Because if you
Toriyama's fucking greedy.
No. Okay. I watched.
knows how much
I
money he can
recently
get.
like went through all 292
It's a lot.
episodes of
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z. I watched
Yeah.
it from beginning to end,
Yeah.
and when you get to the Majin Buu saga, you can feel like Akira Toriyama just saying, "Fuck you guys, I hate doing this."
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, he
I
got
can
real
understand
burnt
that.
out by then.
Because like you can
Anybody
tell
does.
in the dialogue and everything that's going on, like
Yeah, just in the plot points. They were
oh
just,
yeah,
He was
Majin
like,
Buu literally kills everyone.
Well, yeah.
It,
Turns them into chocolate and eats them.
You remember
Yeah.
when he turns Chi-Chi into an egg?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
steps on that bitch?
Yeah.
I'm like, you just killed a mother in front of like
Yeah.
a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
you don't give a fuck.
It's just how it was.
And they're talking like they're making fun of everyone naming moves and shit like that. And he's like,
Yeah.
all you do is talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
But,
you,
you know,
really
I-
hate us right now, don't
I
you?
love the
Akira?
Boo. I love the Boo arc. I love
Oh
it.
yeah, as far as like combat
All
goes,
of
it's
it.
the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Super
combat was
Saiyan
really
3.
good.
Yeah.
You good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Yeah,
Sure, I
let's
guess.
hear Send it.
I don't know. I feel like I've had a very interesting anime background because I was born up like in Fairfax, and I spent like the first I think like 5 or 6 years, up until like the first half of kindergarten, up there, and we didn't have like cable or anything, but we had like public channels,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd play like some cartoons and like some anime during the day every now and again. And I remember as a kid like watching that, and I don't really remember any of the shows I watched back then because it was, you know, like 5, 6 years old. But I know I remember because mom still talks about it sometimes. Like if I had to pick like between like the shows that were on, if there was like some cutesy like normal style cartoon that kids would be watching at my age, or there was like some kind of
Like Dragon
fighty
Tales.
anime or something, or like if like Dragon Ball was on or something, I was always gonna watch that. Like that was
Yeah.
always my pick.
So you pick Dragon Ball over Dragon Tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I actually
Every
didn't even
time.
find out about Dragon Tales until I was like in 3rd grade.
Okay.
And because I just been, when we moved here in 2001, right after we moved in, we got cable TV.
Yeah.
And I was just like halfway through kindergarten, and to me, this shit was groundbreaking because we had more than like 6 or 7 channels.
Yeah.
And so we had Cartoon Network. That was
Yeah.
one of our channels. And I've been watching that channel. I don't watch it as much anymore, but like from like 2001 up until probably I graduated high school, I probably watched a little bit of Cartoon Network almost every day of my
Cartoon
life.
Network is an absolute dumpster fire now.
It's
It
something.
is
I just say that?
now.
Also, new Teen Titans coming out. I just want to say
Yes,
that.
I'm
Teen
excited for
Titans
that.
reboot, guys.
Oh,
No
the
kidding.
is
Yeah.
it
Like
the
the
original
OGs?
reboot?
Yeah.
Good Teen Titans.
Same
Oh.
animation
It's
style. I think
happening.
the same
yes.
voice actors.
Are you kidding?
Nah, fam, it's happening.
Oh my god. I
they
cannot
finally
wait.
heard us. It's coming to
I can't
Toonami.
wait.
Hell yeah.
It's
Even the
going
new
where it's supposed to.
even the new reboot was like, why did we fucking
When they did
trash
the
this?
episode
Yes.
where they talk about how bad
Yeah.
they are compared to the original,
Yeah.
I saw that episode. I was like, even they know they're bad.
Yeah.
Like
they do.
it's-
They knew they fucked up.
Yep.
Well, they know people are unhappy about
But you know,
it.
I mean,
That's all
I'll
they
give it
know.
this
It's
though.
not that it's bad.
The new Teen Titans Go, which is that new one, the new cartoonish
Yeah.
version was. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
it's
I
very
enjoyed it.
It was
comedic.
funny. It was funny. It had its moments, but it did not have the same like drama aspect
Yeah.
as and the same plot.
original Teen
Yeah.
Titans.
Like
kinda
it
hit
did not
some
have any
soft
plot
spots.
build up or anything like that. It was just like a run of your mill
Fucking
Cartoon
Tara.
Network cartoon.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't
That bitch
anything
Tara.
special.
yeah.
You know who I'm talking
Oh,
about?
yeah.
That bitch Tara.
Yeah.
Oh God,
the trash
fucking
can.
Tara.
Fuck Tara.
I like how
Oh,
she's
man.
still screwing over Beast Boy in Teen Titans Go.
they just
She is.
keep.
Like
Still.
still.
Yeah, they
And
threw her in
it's
the
all
trash
right though.
dimension.
Beast
He
Boy
keeps getting her
some
out.
of that regular duty, so he aight.
I do enjoy the humor of the new one. Like they're willing to beat on
It's very-
themselves and stuff. you
Yeah.
know?
It's very like cutesy.
But I mean, it's
comedy.
got that new style of humor, and I think that's a problem with a lot of the people who watched it before. Is it's got that kind of ironic humor that kids now, or some of us that stayed in the loop with the new kinds of humor, we get it. But
Yeah.
a lot of these casual viewers are like,
Oh, they
this
don't get
isn't
it.
funny.
Yeah.
No, they won't get it.
Because they're
Yeah.
saying all this weird, like one of their words for Ford is beef. That doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, but
You have to be
we
able to-
laugh at it because it's so stupid.
Well, they
Yeah.
know because they know that we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to
Fucking
follow
beef.
even U.S. cartoons, Americanized cartoons. You have to follow from the beginning.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Well, and that's another thing too. Like following cultures. I don't think you've seen it yet. The new Fully Cooley, Devin.
No.
I haven't either.
I've seen the first episode, and so
I've watched original Fully Cooley, of course.
original
Yeah.
Fully Cooley feels like a very like late '90s, early 2000s show,
'Cause it
like
is.
culture-wise.
Yeah.
And just from watching the first episode of the
Nothing
new
interesting ever happened.
Fully Cooley alternative,
Mm-hmm.
it has a very today's society feel to it. Like
Right.
the kids in the show are like doing cringe humor jokes and like shit that we do today.
Yeah.
So it's
More
interesting.
recent humor.
Following
Yeah.
social media type humor.
Yeah, and there's like social media based
Very.
jokes and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
there's a reference to the technological culture
Yeah.
we have today that like you don't see at all with the original show.
No.
And
You
it's
won't.
interesting to watch it because there's a 15-year gap between
Yeah.
the original
Yeah.
and the new one.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
And so if you like when I watched the original on Toonami because they played for the first 6 weeks before it came out. They played each of the original 6
Yeah.
episodes, and then it jumped right into the new one. So I watched all those and then jumped into the new one with like a week time frame, and it was weird to see the culture jump because it
Yeah.
literally from one episode to the next jumps through 15 years of culture. But the time change through the show doesn't seem to have changed any. So it's
Yeah.
really weird to see that. But I definitely think it's going to be a good show. I kind of want to watch the rest of it. So, and you guys should give it a shot.
Yeah, I've been really excited for it. I forgot
check
that
it
it was
out.
airing so early, so
Yeah.
I'm going to be checking
See,
it out
I
for
have to
sure.
rewatch
I
the
think-
original too.
I think
Yeah,
Fully Cooley was
definitely,
one
yeah.
of the things that got me into like Japanese
Oh my!
over American anime
Yes.
because I watched a
Yes.
lot of Toonami as a kid. That was pretty much every Saturday night. I never missed a night, almost
Yeah.
ever. And a lot of times they played what we would call like the normie stuff like Dragon Ball and stuff like that.
It is normie.
But
I'll give it that.
Oh,
Toonami,
definitely.
Toonami
Oh, yeah.
was really
Especially
good.
nowadays.
Toonami was
Yeah.
really good about slipping stuff in there every now and again. Like they would put Studio Ghibli films in
They
there
really
every now
would.
and again. They would just throw one
Yeah.
in, and it would just be
Late
part of the
night.
plot. Yeah,
Like 1 or 2 in the morning.
and they would
Late
slip
night.
in weird stuff that you wouldn't normally get. That was like pure 100% Japanese culture.
There's
like
slot fillers.
yeah, and
So they
But
use
then
it
it would
for.
develop that cult following
Yeah.
that would pull those people into
And I-
that kind
I
of
saw-
that side of the culture.
I saw like almost all of that stuff like every time it came out, and so
Oh,
it
yeah.
really got me into Japanese culture, Japanese anime, and
the harder anime.
yeah,
Getting the good stuff.
Yeah.
Got to get the
good
real
goods.
fix.
You got to dig deep,
yeah.
or you got to know where to look.
Oh,
It's basically
That's
what
when you
it's
start shooting
basically
the
it.
Well, and
animes
there was-
directly into
where
your
is your
veins.
favorite stash? I think that's a good question. Where is your favorite stash to
Of
find
anime?
some good anime?
You want to know mine? Are you
I bet
good?
Yeah,
Are you
good.
gonna
Is that what you're beginning?
Yeah.
Do you where I stream all of my anime?
Yeah.
where?
So a lot of the generic type animes I'll go on Hulu.
Yeah.
But,
Absolutely.
But mainly, but lately, I mean, I have a subscription to Hulu. I don't pay for the premium package, of course, because I'm cheap.
Ads. It's
But yeah, I
aight.
mean, I'm cool with ads. But really, I go on Kiss Anime.
Yeah.
That
absolutely.
Same.
that site,
Kiss Anime
that
or
site,
Go-Go Anime.
yeah, that site has literally every
Go-Go's
anime
not bad.
you can
I
even
use
you could
Master
you could
Anime,
fucking
too.
fart into the search box, and
get
there
like
would be
20
there,
good
and there
shows.
would and yeah there would
Yeah.
be 20 shows pop up of farting anime.
And some of them may be good.
Yeah, and they would be.
You'd be like, all right, I'll watch
And
that.
you search through those 20 and go, this one looks pretty good. I'm going to watch this one. So, I mean, Kiss Anime is my go-to
Absolutely.
every time. And if I can't find it on that, I go on Mr. Pirate Bay, and I'll search it on the search box, and it'll be there in the first result.
Yep.
Every
See,
time.
I still haven't downloaded a single episode of anything or a movie.
So you stream all yours.
If I go to Kiss Anime and I can't find, like for movies, like when I
Yeah.
wanted to watch Koei no Katachi,
Yeah.
I ended up going to Master Anime.
Okay.
And
See,
that
I
one
downloaded
is-
that movie.
I
I have it on my
two
Google
animes
Drive,
saved
and
on
I
really
keep it
should
there.
have downloaded it. It's
I keep the anime on my Google Drive, and I send it to many people.
I have
Yes.
2 shows fully saved on my PC. That's Yo-Yo Hakusho and Dragon Ball Z.
Dude.
But it's the good.
Yu Yu Hakusho was
Also,
Yo-Yo
dope.
Hakusho
another
is-
show that
I still
Good
watch
time.
that.
Good time.
Another show that I downloaded was Gintama. Now that show, a lot of people don't really, that was kind of like the underdog when Bleach was airing.
Yeah.
It was on that Shonen Saturdays in Japan.
Yeah.
So Bleach would air before Gintama. So it would be Bleach in the first time slot, early morning, when the kids will wake up, 9 or 10 or whatever. And then Gintama would air, and that show is still running today.
Really.
It is in I don't even know what, I think it's like the 7th or 8th season now.
Jeez.
And this summer anime, this summer season that's getting ready to come up, it's getting ready to finish. I think it's finally going to finish.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to watch all of it.
But yeah, basically the answer is Kiss Anime is the one that I go to the most.
You got to have like 3 or 4
Absolutely.
good ad blockers though.
Oh, I mean,
Oh,
but
yeah.
now Kiss Anime now, you can't have ad blocker on Kiss Anime now.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I got 3 running every time I use it.
I don't.
You're welcome.
And I
It
don't
won't
get
let
a
me- it
single-
won't
I
even
don't
let
get-
me-
I don't
No,
get a
no, check it
single
out,
ad.
check it out.
Nothing pops up.
Okay.
I got you, Corey. It's AdBlock Plus, and uBlock Origin.
See, I have ad block plus.
Use all 3 of them together, and it will break their ad blocker
Tips
detection.
for
Okay.
weebs watching on the computers.
Absolutely.
Don't worry, fam. We got all.
got
of it.
you.
Take it
We
from
got
the
you.
take
Thank
it from the
you, because I
professional
didn't even
here.
know
I've been
that.
doing this for
I
way
didn't
too
know
long.
that. But yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'll suffer. I mean, I will suffer
It
through
will
the
break their ad
pop-ups,
blockers.
and I'll just
or their ad
exit
block
off the
detection.
pop-ups just to watch the shows. But yeah, Kiss Anime is the one that I go to
If
now.
if you set that up, it will not detect your ad blockers
Yeah.
anymore.
Yep.
So what else does everybody else use? I mean,
That's the same thing. That's
Kiss
all
Anime?
I use. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiss, Master, Go.
Yeah, Master Anime's not bad either.
I
haven't
really
used-
like
I
that
haven't
one
used
because
Go-Go yet.
I like the interface on that. It's not bad.
yeah, because you can hit like hot or trending
Yeah.
or recent and
just
stuff
like Kiss
like that.
Anime. It's
Yeah.
got like
Yeah.
the hot list on the first page.
Yeah, like
Theirs
if
is
you
really really good because it'll pop up and
Yeah.
it'll tell you everything.
yeah,
and
like it even ranks them
yeah.
like
Yep.
1 through 10 on the
That
main
was actually
page.
how I originally found Koei no Katachi was because it was #1 streamed on
Yeah.
Master.
Uh-huh.
Like not for like 2-3 weeks in a row, beating out Kimi no Nawa, which came out at the same time.
Yeah.
And got
Which
all
was
the-
good.
It was good. And
Not as good.
not as beautiful.
exactly. It was nowhere near as good as Koei no Katachi.
No.
But it was beating that out and I was
Again,
like, what the
watch
hell?
Koi no Katachi.
Yes.
Don't look away when it gets
If you
bad.
if you want to see if you want to see a newer movie by a different studio than what you might have grown up with,
That's-
watch Koei no Katachi.
Yeah.
Katachi.
It's
That show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
It
I mean,
is.
Kimi no Nawa got put up there with like Studio Ghibli films and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean I watched
And
and
I-
everybody watched it.
and I
you
can
know.
say like it deserves to be pretty close.
Yeah.
This movie was up there completely.
Yeah.
This deserved way more than it got
it did.
Yeah.
critically and at the box office. It
Yeah, I
really
wish more
did.
people would watch it.
You
all
know
the time.
the English dub actually has an for the one character they actually use a deaf voice actress.
Really.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the English dub actually. I just
I
watched
haven't
it,
either.
so-
I'm not sure if it's out yet
I
or
might.
not.
I mean, when it comes out, I probably will watch it though.
I know they said it was coming to theaters, so I don't know if
I
it's
don't know
happening
if-
or not.
I don't know if
But
I
they
could
did
watch
use a
an
deaf girl.
English dub of that movie.
Well, they're
Oh,
doing a live
God.
action, aren't they?
Now,
Let
if
me
it was
tell
somebody
you,
in Japan
it
doing a
hurt
live
in
action of that
oh,
movie?
it did.
I sure hope
It
so.
hurt. Now I'll tell you now, I'm a grown man,
Oh, dude.
and I cried.
I cried too.
Absolutely.
Same.
I cried
Nobody
during that
didn't
movie.
cry.
That's a
I
movie that I
cried.
will not.
I
will-
cried man tears.
Yeah, same.
Yes.
And that's the realest of tears.
And like
Yeah.
I said, for me, it's because it hit so close to home.
yeah,
I had man
cried.
and bitch tears.
I
Not
did.
gonna lie.
I mean,
There
I
was both.
I cried like a bitch.
They were
I'll tell you that
mixing.
right now.
Yeah, I watched that movie. I watched that movie for the
Absolutely.
first time with Devin
Yeah.
and Paul Furrow. Do you know? You know
Yeah,
Paul.
I know Paul.
And so there's like 3 of us all sitting on a couch together, like fully grown adult men watching this animated movie, and he was really drunk and kept falling asleep. Devin was, but
Yeah.
me and
That was
Paul
like
were.
the third time I watched
Yeah, I was
it.
about to say, it's
To
also
be
like,
fair.
yeah. That's
Me and
that's
Paul
what
are
I mean.
literally sitting there just like crying.
Yeah.
And like refusing, like you could tell too, like we never made eye contact through that whole movie. We never looked away from the screen, but you could tell like we were just tears pouring
That's
down
why
our
you
face
gotta
the whole
watch Here
time.
Comes Sakamoto
I am
afterwards.
glad.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I'm glad
No,
that
no,
you
no,
guys
no.
all watched that. I'm glad that you guys had all watched
That
because
movie
that
changed.
is a
It changes your
you have to
perspective on
really
life.
you have to really follow
Yeah.
anime. You have to follow
Yes.
the Japanese. You have to really follow that
Dude,
culture.
I was on Discord at like 2 in the morning, and he Discord calls me. He's
Yeah.
like, and he's drunk, and he's like, "You gotta watch this movie."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I
Okay.
have
I
to
did
watch
that.
this movie."
You're like,
He's like, "You
okay.
have to watch it." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
"All right."
you have your people, you have your certain people where you're like, hey, you need to watch this, and you fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Or like they're like, hey, don't watch this because it's a waste of your time. You don't watch it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
Because I mean, of anything, I mean, it's just like American TV. There's trash, and then there's treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I mean, you could waste your time watching shit, just like run of the mill shows, because I mean they have that over there too, or you can watch the good shit.
There's
you know.
still a lot of shows
Yeah,
that
definitely.
that a lot of people consider garbage that I liked watching.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like
there's-
Gundam's a perfect example of that. A lot of people think Gundam
I mean,
is
yeah.
trash.
Well,
but
a lot
I
of
And
love
you grow out of a lot of mecha shit when you're younger.
Yeah.
I mean, we all grew up with Power Rangers,
Yeah.
which was originally a Japanese show.
Voltron.
it. I fuck with
Super
Power
So
Rangers.
I mean, and I still love Power Rangers to this day.
I have not watched.
Do you see
any
what's
of the new
behind your
Power
head?
Rangers.
Turn around.
Yeah, see, look,
That's a Power
Mighty
original.
Morphin Power Rangers.
the OG.
Yo, I've
Oh,
had
yeah.
that food tray. It's for all the audio listeners.
Megazord.
It's a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers like lunch tray that has like fold out legs and you sit on your lap.
Yeah.
I watched the show when
Yeah.
it was originally airing.
Yeah.
While I ate my cereal
Everybody
off of that
did.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
I've
still
had it
have
for
a
like 20
lunchbox.
years.
I
Yeah.
still have the movie, man.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
think that show
On
was
VHS.
was
Dr.
just
Ooh.
Japanese
Yeah,
enough.
on VHS. I
Yeah.
still have that
all
movie.
the nonsense going on.
Yeah.
that-
And the
that
kung
kind
fu.
of- yeah, I think that was just Japanese enough with the influences because it was based on a Japanese show that it kind of led us to the point where we could appreciate
Yeah.
what was happening in anime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I
mean,
because
th-
there's so much unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, and you
nonsense
can even think
going
back to
on.
that time. You didn't
in
know
these
where it came
shows.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just
You-
like
you
those
just
are
watching
ninjas
it.
fighting bad guys.
Yeah.
I'm cool with
Yeah, you're
watching
like,
You
that.
This is
you were
cool
just
as
watching
hell.
guys punch people like 2 feet away, but still hitting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just cool as shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on something you said earlier. You said watch Sakamoto after Koi no Katachi.
Yeah.
I would disagree. I would say watch Shimonetta.
Yeah. That's
much,
what I did.
Much funnier, much easier to get into the jokes, and will just like make you way less depressed.
Yep.
Because you're gonna need the hardest antidepressants after
Yep.
watching that.
Oh
movie.
yeah. That movie's gonna make you
Yeah.
feel like garbage about yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna hate everything about life. So
Yeah.
watch Shimonetta immediately after, like binge the entire
Now,
show.
are we
Yeah.
talking about like funny shit, like dumpster shit funny? Because there's a
God.
show that I have that probably none of you have
I
watched.
mean, you've seen Shimonetta, right?
No,
You haven't seen
I
that?
haven't.
Oh man.
No, but I have a show that you guys probably haven't watched, but it's like dumpster shit, but it's funny as fuck.
What's it called?
Hit me
It's
with
called
it.
Cromartie High.
Oh.
Now this show aired in the late '90s, right?
Uh-huh.
And this show is about it's a slice of life comedy.
Right.
You know, shows that everybody likes, and it's about delinquents in high school. It's a delinquent high school. It's like a charter school.
Right.
And one of the characters, I fucking kid you not, is Freddie Mercury,
What?
and they call him Freddie.
Really?
Yes,
Damn.
yes, he has suspenders, no shirt, mustache.
Oh my
Freddie
God.
Mercury is in that fucking
I think I've
show.
gotten Snapchats from you while you're
Yes.
watching that show.
Yeah, I used to put it on my story all the time.
I'm gonna have
One
to
of the
watch
main
that.
one of the main characters, his name is Mekazawa, and he's a fucking robot. And he
Yes.
goes to the
I'm already
delinquent
into it.
school.
Oh, geez.
That show, and now that show was probably one of the first ones that aired that was a 10 to 12 minute show.
Mhm.
You know how most shows run for 20,
22
25
and a
minutes?
half, yeah.
Yeah. That show ran for 10 minutes each episode. And
Huh.
it was a 12 episode series. It was just, I started watching it and I was like, God, this is fucking stupid. But then I just kept watching it and it was just good.
Huh.
It was like High School of the Undead.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I like that show.
I have not watched High School of the Undead.
Or what was it? Was it? Yeah, High School of the Undead is a yeah.
I think so. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's
Was
like
it High
a
School
good
of the
slice
Dead
of
or
life.
High
Yeah, High School of the
DxD?
Dead, or High School DxD, I think is what it was.
That's what I was thinking. I heard that was the funnier
Yeah.
of the two or something like that.
But
I
but
don't know, I
yeah,
didn't watch
the
either one.
Cromartie High was really funny,
I'll
and
have to
I
watch
think
that.
you guys
I'll
need
have to
to
check that out,
take
yeah.
a look at that. That's an older anime. That's underappreciated.
Oh, I'm
And
definitely gonna watch
the,
it now.
watch it in the. I know you guys are probably gonna hate, but watch it in the English version. Watch it in
Really?
the English version.
I mean,
Kind of like Ghost Stories.
Yes,
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
it's the actual legit dub.
Oh, really?
But it's like you're watching an air-bridged episodes.
I got you.
So that okay.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll lay that
Oh,
out there.
yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Ghost Stories was originally a Japanese anime that was so bad, they just gave it to the first people who would do an
And
English
they
dub.
fucking made it
said-
so funny.
They said you don't have to translate it, do whatever you want,
Yeah.
and it's just
it was
it's
so fucking
toilet
funny.
humor and nonsense the entire
Yeah,
time.
it was great.
It's hilarious.
It is
It's
literally
on Netflix.
It's just like that. Yeah.
So I
it's
imagine
just like that.
contextually speaking, the dub version and the Japanese version probably are like drastically
completely different.
Yes.
They,
Yeah.
they have nothing to do
Yep.
with each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
The story in the English dub, it's completely nonsensical, and it's perfect that way because the
Yep.
original story was so bad.
Uh-huh.
I'll have to watch that.
It's
Yeah.
way better in English.
Watch both.
Watch both.
Yep. I would.
Just watch it all.
Watch
Yeah.
it all.
Just watch it
So
all.
let's talk about some modern anime. Because right before we started this podcast, we actually finished watching the newest episode of Boku no Hero, and that's probably one of my favorite.
Hero Academia for you plebs that only know it in
The
English.
English version.
It's a currently running show. A new episode just came out today, and it's probably one of my favorite currently running shows, and it also rests there with like my favorite all-time shows too. Like it's a
This is
solid
definitely
show.
one of my all-time
You could call it.
favorites.
You could call it a normie show.
It
But
is
if there's
really
a reason-
well
if
but
done.
it's
you
like the best of the normie
It's
shows.
just okay. So that normie show, me saying that is like saying if you haven't watched Sword Art Online, everybody has watched that
Yeah.
because
Alicia
that
has
was a
watched
that was a normie
It's-
show.
It just gets a little too weird at
It
the end for
was.
me.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
the
well,
second
it's
season
way
was
too
the
rapey.
second season
A
was
little
kind
too
of
rapey.
trash.
A little too
but
rapey.
the second season was kind of trash. I didn't like the second season.
It was all trash.
no.
Let me
the
tell
first season
you.
was okay.
No, from the very beginning, it was this weird. And I watched the original because the dub was way worse.
Yeah, me too. I watched the
They,
sub.
they changed the dialogue. They made Kirito
Yeah.
from a hapless, helpful kind of idiot
yeah,
and,
to like a
to a total asshole.
yeah.
But no, everything about it, the plot was just weird and borrowed but made worse somehow.
It was a,
rapey.
so you're
There was-
saying
it was super rapey.
you're saying it was your run of the mill anime.
It really
was a
was-
cookie cutter anime. Is what
Yeah,
you're
it was.
saying.
It was right along with the all the other isekai shows that
Yeah.
were coming out at the time.
Cookie cutter.
It just said, let's
just
take
like,
this and do a
stamp it
bad
out,
job
put
and
it
make
out.
it really edgy.
I understand.
But also, let's take out all the character development and make the plot nonsensical and do
Yeah.
a really bad job at animating it
But you
Yeah.
watched it.
because the choreography was trash. In
But
that
you
show.
watched it. Everybody watched it,
Yep.
and that's the thing. That's one of
But
those
that's-
shows. That's okay. So
it's a
that's
normie
like,
tier show,
Some
but it
people,
was
some people
poorly
think,
done.
some people think Attack on Titan is not good.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan.
I
See?
enjoy Attack on Titan
It's just
because of the intense plot that's there.
I just
I
like that
sat-
they're not afraid to kill people.
I had
Anybody.
they
people
are.
Doesn't
that
matter.
had never watched that show a day in their life. I was watching the second season when it came out on Netflix, and
I think
there
I
were
was
people
one
that
of
had
those
never
people.
watched Attack on Titan a day in their
Was
life,
watching
and they
it.
were already attached to these characters
Yeah.
in the middle of the second season.
and they didn't even know that some of those were gonna fucking die.
Yeah, like I can't remember the woman's name, but
Spoilers.
she turns fucking Attack. If you haven't seen it,
Go watch it.
yeah.
You're a scrub
But,
at this point if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the girl's name.
I'll
She's a
agree with
soldier.
that.
She turns into a Titan and she jumps off the side of the wall.
Yeah.
And she goes, I can't remember the girl's name.
But I can't even. It's
yeah,
been
but
a
she
little
goes,
while.
starts killing people, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "It's Attack on Titan, dude. Go watch that shit."
But yeah,
Great.
back to My Hero Academia.
Yes,
It is a normie tier show, but it's
It is.
probably the best done
Well,
normie tier
you know
show
why?
out there.
Because it's the next shonen.
yeah.
It
absolutely.
is the next shonen.
Yes.
It is the next Dragon Ball Z.
Yep. The
Absolutely.
next
It is the
Naruto.
next Naruto.
And it's
I
the
think
and
one
it's
of the best things that saves it from becoming Dragon Ball Z, though, is because of the way that they handled the power scaling.
Yep.
Yes.
They
Exactly.
started with the most powerful person out there, and they said, "Here's All
Here-
Might.
yeah.
Nobody can be stronger
Number
than him."
one hero.
Yep.
Exactly, and they said, "This is where the
And
best
you know what they
will
did
end
from
up."
there? They went, here's the weakest person
On the planet.
possibly on the fucking planet.
Exactly.
And he is going to inherit my power. And we're going to train him up through the seasons, which you see
Yes.
yeah,
wicked nasty character development
Yeah.
Exactly.
emotional,
through the first and second season.
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster.
yes.
Into this season, when at the end, I'm sorry if nobody has seen, the 12 and 13, right? Episode
Yeah.
12 and 13.
I mean, it's been 2 weeks.
when he was like, "Hey, I'm fucking done. If I use it anymore, I'm going to die. You are the next. You're the next
You're
one.
the new symbol of peace.
Yeah, you are the new symbol of peace. You are going to be the new number one, which I think the new number one becomes Endeavor. I
Right
think
now.
he is the number one now.
Yeah.
When they
Boy,
rearrange
is
the
he
list.
pissed about that too.
Yeah, he
I
was.
didn't want that.
He
God.
crawled,
Yeah, he
he
doesn't
crawled
earn it.
all the way to number 2
But I
with
think-
everything that he
'cause
had. He just had
everyone-
number 1 given to him.
Everyone gives Endeavor bullshit because they're like, "There's no
But
way that's
he's
a
a-
hero."
he's a
I was like,
beast.
"No, that's the most honorable hero of
He
them
really
all."
is.
He really
because he was
is,
like,
yes.
"I did not earn my
He is a
place. I
spitting
don't deserve
image.
it."
He's
Very
a spitting image of
samurai.
Bakugo,
Yes.
Yeah.
saying, "I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to be the strongest hero in the world.
But I
am going to be the number one hero, Bakugo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Katsuki
Yeah.
Bakugo is
But
one of my favorites.
we can
He
always
is dope.
we can already determine from this early on in watching the show that 20 years from now in the future of that universe, when Deku's the number one hero,
It's
that
gonna be
Bakugo is
right behind him.
Bakugo is going to be number 2, and it's going to be just like All Might and Endeavor.
Well, actually,
Todoroki, yeah.
I think Todoroki might be number one.
Maybe.
To be completely honest with you,
He's the most powerful.
The entire
quirk-wise.
premise of the show was the story of the number one hero getting to where he is. So we
Yeah.
know where it'll end.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yeah.
I think Bakugo is going to be the Vegeta of this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I understand that. That's a
absolutely.
really good analogy.
Yep.
of
He
that.
is definitely the Vegeta.
The hot-headed-
Because you notice, like, even after he got
Spoiler alerts
Oh,
for Dragon
I-
Ball.
When he's
Yeah,
going
sorry.
through he's going he's going
if
through
you're
the
20
same
years late.
yeah,
Right.
he's going through the same personal and emotional changes that Vegeta goes through too. Because not as drastic though, because Vegeta starts out as the
Vegeta
villain,
literally
Yeah.
dies a couple times before he's humbled.
but
Yeah.
but you see him slowly become more humbled and less of an asshole, and you can already see that with Bakugo in just 2 seasons.
Even that last episode
Yeah,
when he gave the money back
yeah,
and he was saying sorry to everybody and returning the favor from saving
Yeah.
him.
and he got
That was
fucking
fantastic.
what's his
Yeah,
name?
you're realizing that he's not such
The electric
an
kid.
asshole.
What's
Yeah.
the electric jackass's name?
Yeah,
He gets him to blow all his powers out and become stupid, so everybody will laugh at it, and it'll bring a little.
so
It'll
he
lighten
can,
up the situation.
so he can walk away and do what Bakugo does.
Yeah.
And just like be on his own.
Yeah, go brood and then go to
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, but he.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's
Yeah.
okay to be a brooding character as long as it's
Yeah.
not the entire premise of the
Yeah.
show.
But he did something to make people happy, and that
Yeah.
that shows,
really
how
shows.
drastically he's changed in a short amount of time.
Yeah. But that show, if you're not following that now,
Yeah.
you
That is-
need to
if you
get
take anything
the
from
fuck
this-
on that show.
Yes.
Please.
Get on
Absolutely.
that now. Get on that show
Absolutely.
now. I don't even care if you watch the sub or the dub.
Yeah.
of
Both
that
are
show.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Both
I'm
are
just gonna go
great.
for it.
So this is a thing that I wanted to make a statement about, because me and Will have noticed this too. 'Cause for some reason, for the last season, I've been watching it like every episode 2 or 3 times, because everybody I know is watching it, and I'm watching it. Like I'll watch it
We
with
watch it
Drew,
by ourselves,
and then I'll watch it by
together,
myself, watch
and
it
then-
together.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I end up watching the sub. I've seen the subbed and dubbed of every episode of this season.
Yeah.
And there are some contextual changes that I think make the dub better.
Oh,
Um,
really?
Especially during the fight. Like me and him were talking about this.
Which
the
fight?
dialogue with the All Might
Versus the
All Might,
the
All for One. The
fight.
best
yeah.
fight in that
The
show.
dialogue
Oh, yeah.
between the subbed and the dubbed is so much better in the sub. Like the
Really?
it's it makes the villain a lot better.
Is it easier to follow?
Yes, and
Okay.
it makes more sense, and it makes him sound more villainous and more of a badass.
Okay.
And it's
So you're
just these,
saying-
and it's these little tiny changes too. Like, just
Is it the voice actor?
um,
Is that why
So
it
you said
might be
both.
better?
Is it the sub or the dub that does better in that
the
content?
subbed.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
the sub does better.
The sub does better.
Okay, I thought you were. I
Because
thought you
no,
were
no,
saying
no.
the
Said
dub.
dub, and I was
Yeah, I
like,
thought you were saying the
what?
dub
No, the
did
sub
better.
does better.
I do give the dub credit because, like,
It's good.
All
It's-
Might's voice dubbed is the most heroic voice I've
Oh, it
ever
really
heard in my
is.
life.
Yeah.
It really is.
I am here. You're like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Like, oh shit!
somebody's
It's fucking
here.
All Might.
Yeah.
Do not fear, for I am here.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's why this show is doing so well right now, is because it's such a good blend of Western and Eastern culture.
Yeah.
Like, All Might is the most Americanized Japanese hero I've ever
He
seen
is.
in my life.
He's
well,
literally
and
red, white, and blue.
All for one,
he
Yeah,
is.
and every attack he has is named after a
Yeah.
State.
or
Or the
United
country
States,
itself.
United States smash.
The
Yeah.
United States of Smash.
And All for One is a very Americanized, typical style villain.
Yes.
Like, if you look at how he acts and the way he does things and the way he carries himself, he's not a very Japanese style villain at all. He's very
No,
American.
he's absolutely not.
But if
No,
you look
no.
at
Tomura, he's a lot more Eastern style as far as villains
and
go.
so
Yeah.
is Deku.
Yeah.
as a,
Hero
as a
Killer-
lead, as
Hero
a
Killer
lead
Stain is
anime
also very
character.
Easternized.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
very Eastern as well.
Okay, so the origami guy,
Yeah.
the ninja.
Like the number
he's-
4 or 5 here. Does it
Yeah.
ever say what number he actually is?
I think he's 5.
5?
Yeah.
I always thought he was number 3, but
He might.
they only
be.
did one episode where they showed like what number they
the
fell
ranking.
into. The
Yeah.
yeah.
That
I
was a
wish they
late
would do that
episode,
more
too.
often, and
Yeah.
not just in the mid
Instead of
like
instead of just
mid-show
showing.
review.
Instead of just showing
I
like
bet that
what
will-
stand they, I mean what quirk they. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about JoJo. Instead of like what quirk they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think now that, and sorry for the spoilers, but, get over it. I think now that the power shift between 1 and 2 is going to happen, they probably are going to do a recap and show like what all
It'll
the current-
rearrange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That'll
think-
be that'll definitely be something like
So
I think they'll revisit it then.
Yeah.
When he actually steps down and
Yeah,
and
because
says, "Okay, done."
there's so many numbers all over the place. I get fucking confused with like the top 10 all the time.
Yeah.
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm sure they'll fix.
But we all know that All Might was always number one.
That's all that matters.
That's
Yeah.
You know who number 1 is, and you know who number 2 is.
Yep.
It's just like Afro Samurai. It's the only two that matter.
exactly.
Afro Samurai. That's
Afro Samurai. Oh,
That's
Another
an
good
so
show.
good show.
Is,
I
like
fucking
that.
love
Another
it.
good show like that's Black
just wa-
Lagoon.
dude, it's so good. I watched it back to back twice.
So which because I know they wait a couple episodes, but like to show that what's his name's not even really there. In Afro Samurai.
Actually, it's a 6-episode season. Like that's
Yeah.
it. That's all there is of Afro
Yeah.
Samurai. And
Yeah.
the 6th episode is when it kind of just clicks that he was never there to begin with. That's
Yeah.
when they like tell you.
That shit. That what a twist.
Oh, I
Because
love
the whole
it. though.
time he's like your favorite character of the show.
Oh yeah, Samuel L. Jackson. Thank
Yup.
you.
Oh
Yeah.
man, what a show.
So many like different things too. There's samurais fighting RPGs and
Yeah.
mechanicalized samurai. Good show.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. I've
Yeah.
not watched Resurrection yet, but I really want to.
Do you guys? I don't think you've seen it. Have you guys watched any of Black Clover?
I have not.
No.
Because
I don't follow
that is
that.
that is the shonen running in the shadow of Boku no Hero right now.
I heard it gets better later on because
yeah.
they quit.
I mean, how many episodes are there now? Like 20 or 23 or 40
Yeah.
some episodes in now.
And I watched. It was just on Toonami.
Boku no Hero's at 51 now.
Yep.
yeah.
But it's Black Clover's on Toonami now, and they're running like the first, I guess, season of it. And I've watched like a couple, 3 or 4 episodes over the last couple months, and it's not a bad show, but it feels like it's a shadow of My Hero Academia. Like it feels like it's the same similar kind of story and same kind of animation and world building, but it doesn't do it just quite as good.
I've heard
and
that
it
it
makes
was-
it more disappointing.
I've heard because I haven't touched it because I heard that the MC was like super fucking annoying for the
Yeah.
first like season and a
Yeah.
half.
So you're saying it's just like it's being undershadowed by.
Yeah, like if,
My
if,
Hero
if
Academia.
My Hero Academia had never came
more
out,
of a mid-tier kind of
Okay.
yeah,
shonen.
if it had never, if My Hero Academia had never come out and I watched Black Clover, I'd be like, this ain't a bad show.
Yeah.
But then I watched it and I was like, it's like they're trying to do the same thing, but they're not doing it as good, so it makes me like it even less.
I understand.
Like the main character, so basically instead of heroes, everybody are wizards and like do magic and shit.
Yeah.
And the main character starts out with no powers.
Yeah.
And then he gets
Yeah.
gifted some magical powers or something. And
Isn't that an isekai? Like a transported to another world kind of show?
I think so. But no, I think it's in their world. Like in the world that
Okay.
they live in, people are
So
wizards
he was
and
born in that world.
yeah, he was born
Okay.
in a world full of
I
people
couldn't
with
remember. I thought
magical
somebody had
powers,
told me it was an isekai,
and he
but I
has
could be
no
wrong.
powers.
That would
And then he
be-
gets gifted powers, so it feels
That
very
would be
much
kinda
like the
super.
first season of My
Yeah,
Hero
That'd be
Academia.
wild.
And
I
then
don't know
he's
if I'd
on a
watch
quest
it.
to be the king of the
love
wizards or
things
whatever,
Yeah.
to be the number one guy. And he
Just like My
started,
Hero Academia.
yeah, and he started with nothing. So it feels like
Yeah.
the character building and the storyline feels very similar, and the animation style is very similar. So I don't know. If I'll go back and watch that show in a year or 2 or 3, and I'll probably
Maybe.
appreciate it more
If I'm
than I do
bored, I
now.
might watch it.
Yeah,
I haven't started the first episode yet, so
but it's. I mean,
I
it's
don't
not
plan
bad.
to.
Like it's not. There's nothing bad about it. Like there aren't any like dialogue points where you're just like, or like any like voice acting that's terrible, and the plot makes sense and it's fine, but it just doesn't do it as well.
so ultimately you're saying
It's an okay
that show is a show that you watch when you have nothing else
yeah,
to watch.
and you won't be disappointed by the end of it.
Okay.
You just
So
won't get
basically
anything out
what
of
I
it.
said earlier, it's like a mid-grade show.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a mid-tier.
Now
There's
I
nothing
have
bad
heard,
about it.
and this is a fair warning to anybody who's considering it. I have heard that for the first like season or so, the main character is super annoying. He won't stop screaming,
Yeah.
but they heard everybody bitching about it, and when they came back, they actually
Changed
like,
it.
toned
Yeah.
it down.
I mean, it's
When the-
exactly how Deku starts out in the beginning, you know?
Crying
Yeah,
all the
crying
damn
all the
time.
yeah,
Crying all the damn
bitch.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had to go do some damn manual labor, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
The thing
that's
is,
not so
though,
bad.
both of these shows are currently
Yeah.
running at like the same time, and Black
Yeah.
Clover is just only like a season behind My Hero Academia,
yeah.
and so
They're a season behind, and they're already like 40-some episodes.
they're not as far along in their show as My Hero Academia is. Like
Yeah,
they're,
it
they're-
started, it started
but-
later.
but
It
there's-
Boku no
started a
Hero
season
is kind
later.
of
Yeah.
running on a weird schedule
Yeah.
anyway.
But this-
Black
this
Clover's
show
following
is-
traditional seasons.
yeah, Black Clover is still running currently, and they still seem to have intentions of running for a while with this show. So it's going to be interesting to see how it develops, because it might actually get really good. They
Yeah.
might do things to make it, or to try to like keep up with like the top tier animes that are running, And it does. It has a good potential that if they made it better, it could be a good show, and they might. So
Yeah.
it could end up being something worth to watch. Only
see.
time will tell.
We'll see. I'll watch it when it's finished.
Yeah, I'll probably do the exact same thing.
Yeah, that sounds about right. If
Although-
nobody's shitting on it by the time it's done, then okay,
Yeah.
we'll watch it.
Yeah.
Even if they're shitting on it, I might give it a watch.
Or I'll just
Yeah,
keep
just
casually
because.
catching it on Toonami out of context and not
Yeah.
really knowing what's going on and not caring.
Yeah.
Because that's how I watched Bleach. I never got into Bleach. I just watched
That
it.
show was early. It was a very early
But
show.
I know a lot of people that have seen every single episode of Bleach like religiously, and I casually watched it on Toonami when it came on. And if it still comes on now, if it's on, I'll watch it. It's not a bad show.
No, it's
But
not.
I don't know the main synopsis of the whole stretch of the show. I don't know.
There isn't.
Yeah.
It's a show you watch. You might watch 1 or 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
And then you'll pick back up the next week or the week after.
Yeah. Or if you miss
It's
like
not
a
a
month
show-
of it, it's not a big deal.
It's not, because
Yeah.
you can just pick that show back up and just watch it.
Yeah.
Very easy to get into.
Yeah, it is.
And at its core, it's really just a bunch of fighting, and that's all we want to watch. And there's always a good fight, almost
Oh yeah.
80% of the time
Yeah.
in that show.
It's just like Gintama, which a perfect example of that is the undershadow or the shadow of Bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach was more popular than Gintama was, and that's why nobody really knows about it, because it aired after Bleach, and even though that show is still running today, not very many people still watch it.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of good anime out there that gets shadowed by the mainstream. That's sometimes even better than the mainstream.
You're
And
right.
honestly, if it wasn't for like Devin, I wouldn't know about half of that shit.
Yeah.
And
you
so
just you have to dig deep. You
Yeah.
have to dig down and,
Yeah.
and find the
Well,
anime.
I mean, it's because it's not exposed to the American
no,
public.
it's not.
No.
You have to really you have to
it's-
watch reviews. You have to read
Yeah.
forums.
it will. I love the way technology is going though, because we're getting close to the point where I might even be able to do it now. I don't get into a whole lot of like smart TV and like Roku and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's going to be a point where like the Japanese anime block is going to be something I can watch in real time on TV here.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, definitely.
You can probably
And-
even do that now.
probably,
Yes.
well, I'm sure you
Yes,
could
you
stream
can.
it online somewhere.
Yeah.
But like, I'm sure at some point there's gonna, because the way TV packaging is changing these days and the way technology is
I
going.
mean, hell with the TV packaging, they're always going to sell you something stupid.
Right.
When you
Yeah.
check out the streaming boxes and stuff
yeah,
like that,
and you get
that's
stuff
where
like
the power
Sling
really
TV,
comes
and
in.
you just pick which
Roku
channels you
and
want.
things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And so I'm
absolutely.
sure there's going to be a point in time where I'm probably going to be watching Japanese anime on Japanese TV.
Yeah.
And being really confused about the commercials, but still loving every minute of it.
Yeah.
Dude, Japanese commercials are the best.
Dude, yeah,
They really
they're
are.
so much better than American
they're
commercials.
amazing. It's so
Gin-
crazy.
The Gintama that I downloaded used to have old Pepsi commercials,
Oh, nice.
old Japanese Pepsi commercials, and they were
That's
so
pretty sick.
fucking funny.
I bet.
Dude,
Yeah.
Japanese noodle commercials, those are the best. They put a
Oh,
lot of funding
man.
into their like noodle commercials.
well, they have to. There's competition out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
every video, and then it's like a Dragon Ball Z fighting
Yeah.
style
Oh, yeah.
place, and you're like,
Like
I
the
kinda want
little
noodles.
egg that turned into a chick summoned Satan, turned into
Yeah.
a giant monster, and like
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
some
yeah.
weird shit.
and
Yeah.
it went from like happy pop music to straight death metal, and it's in a giant.
And then at the end, it's
Satan-slaying
like-
And you know
scene
this
and
is
all
a
that shit.
mainstream commercial that
Yeah.
children are probably seeing between
Watching.
the cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that stuff is great.
you know what's an anime we haven't mentioned
We
that is great, and especially a lot of us in our group appreciate on 2 levels. Initial D.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is an old
Initial
show.
D has some weird stuff to it.
It
Yeah.
is. It
There's-
does. It's an old show. You have to really sit. You have to sit down and watch. You have to actually
you're not-
watch
have to be
that
prepared
show.
If you're not used to typical 90s Japanese traditional anime, that
The-
show's a little out there.
The dub is good.
Is it?
Yes,
I've not seen the dub.
but the you have to just watch it. You can't idly sit there and like you can't multitask when you watch that show.
yeah, it's
you have
all
to
about the
pay attention.
dialogue.
It really is, and if you miss episodes, you're lost.
Yep.
It's kind of like I'm trying to think of another show that kind of mimicked. I can't remember what it is, but it had like it's like a Blackbird Porsche or whatever, and it's like instead of like road racing or toge runs, it's more of a highway racing,
Oh,
and they race straight line. I can't remember what the name of the show is now, but I had watched it. One of the main rivals of the show is a Blackbird, is what the Porsche is called.
Yeah.
And they, at the end of the show, like, it had good development on the cars and the characters. And the end of the show, that Porsche was fully carbon fiber body,
Nice.
fully built motor, and the guy that built it was like, if you drive this car, you will probably die.
Huh.
If you road race it. And he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking drive it anyway because I'm gonna be the best.
Right.
But the main guy had the Devil Z.
Oh. So like a
And it
370
was-
or a 350?
No, it was a 240.
A 240?
Yeah, 240.
classic.
And it was a Devil Z, and every owner that it had died in that car before, and it got wrecked and fixed every single time until this one young guy had got it, and he knew how to drive it, everything like that. And
So basically, they ripped off James Dean's Porsche Spider.
basically,
But that's cool. I like seeing that in a story like
But,
that.
yeah,
I might have to watch
it's,
that. Try to remember what that is.
it's like
and I'll
Midnight
watch it.
something. I can't
sounds pretty
remember the actual name of the show. I've watched so many, I just can't remember the name of it right now.
That's
but
pretty cool.
I think that's the biggest problem we have talking about anime is we've
Yeah, it's
seen
hard
so
to
many.
remember.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember
Everything.
every single title of an anime, but you always remember snippets of.
Because there's so many that are just like 3 or 4 episodes, and
Yeah,
you're
but
done.
I do remember it's the Devil
Oh,
Z, and
yeah.
if you look up the Devil Z, then you will find that anime. It's Midnight something. Yeah, Wangan Midnight. That's
Wangan
what it is.
Midnight.
Wangan Midnight. Yeah.
All right. Well, now we know. For
Yeah,
anybody
that's what that
listening,
show
go look
is.
that
Good
show up.
job,
Wangan
Remington.
Midnight. Yeah, I forgot about it. But yeah, that show was kind of like an undershadow of Initial D, I guess you could say.
Huh.
But yeah, Initial D is a show you have to watch religiously.
Yeah.
You have to sit through and just watch it. And there are so many seasons. So many movies. Yeah, movies. Yeah, movies that are seasons that like recap the season, just like Dragon Ball Z was.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just watch the movies of Dragon Ball Z
And know
like
the
and know
arc-
the story.
the arc movies and know the story.
You just don't get all that.
Battle of the
wonderful
Gods.
You
filler.
just don't get all the fucking 20 episodes of filler in one episode of fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
no, the
boobies.
thing is, like, going back through and watching Dragon Ball Z, I'm realizing there's a fight in almost every episode. It might not be a long one, but there's
Yeah.
always, like, these
I understand.
Something.
little tidbits. And I was like, I guess that's how they kept us as kids watching that
Yep.
shit.
As long
Yeah,
as somebody threw a punch somewhere, even if it was Chi-Chi, it was a good
Yeah.
episode.
that was funny.
Yeah.
But
Or a
yeah,
Bulma
that was
slap.
another
Can we
good
talk
part show.
about Super, though, man?
Yeah, let's talk about
we
Super.
haven't went there yet.
Super definitely had better pacing than the other ones.
Well, I think they learned their lesson from having a little too much filler with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Like, that's my only complaint about that series, is there's just a little too much filler.
You know what I didn't like about Super?
What?
I didn't really like the tournament arc.
The final
I
tournament
did
arc?
not like.
You didn't
the
like Tournament of Power?
I did not.
I felt like it was
Tournament of Power.
lacking
enjoyed
something.
it, but it
you
was
know why?
way too
You know why I
long.
didn't like the tournament? Because it was too long, and that one fucking planet that was all about like the power of love. You remember that planet?
Oh,
shit
yeah.
was that was a comic relief though. That was
No,
basically
not me.
Krillin jumping
Not
into
for
the
me.
Sea
That was too-
Fighters.
that was
I
too soft for Dragon Ball.
You know, I will say it. I almost fucking stopped watching that show because of that arc.
the beauty
Serious.
universe was the Krillin of universes.
I almost
what that
stopped,
was.
but they lasted almost till the end.
Yeah, I know.
That was kind of
There was too
ridiculous,
much of
yeah,
them.
but-
Yeah,
That was the
there
thing.
was,
if they would,
yeah.
if they wouldn't have,
That was the thing. There was like 15 episodes of that beauty universe.
Yeah.
Universe 2? I think it was.
and I
universe
wanted
2
to
or
hear more
3.
about all the other universes and less about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, the Tournament of Power was a fantastic arc,
Yes.
but my favorite
It was
arc of
good.
that show was probably the Future Trunks arc.
Yeah,
The
it's
Future
really good.
Trunks arc was
Zamasu.
oh my!
It's 'cause
it was
it's the darkest
so
arc.
good. The fucking animation
for the fights.
was amazing.
The
in that arc.
animation was beautiful in that arc. I wasn't a fan of the plot line of that arc.
It was kind of rushed.
Honestly.
It
Yeah.
was rushed.
It was rushed. It was a little bit weird. Some of it just kind of came out of left field, and they just
Yeah.
said, "Fuck it, let's throw in immortal sky blowing monster thing,
Yeah, but
and then just let's summon the ultimate god to destroy that. Because
Yeah.
why not? Like,
and then they fucking put the Patara in. They hooked the Patara,
yeah,
you know,
Vegeta.
fused Vegito,
Vegito. Oh,
God
man.
form Vegito
Right?
at
That
that,
was.
fighting another
Oh,
god.
man. That was
or another,
that was an
or a
intense
Kai,
fight.
a Kai of a different planet.
Yeah.
So I mean, that arc was that was a good arc in that show.
I
Well,
like Tournament
you know
of Power.
why? All right, so the thing is, the Tournament of Power versus the Future Trunks arc. The Future Trunks arc has a villain, and that's
Yeah.
why it feels
does.
more.
It's a lot more traditional.
It's
yeah.
and that's why it feels better.
It follows a traditional
but
path.
I think the Tournament of Power.
It was fantastic because there were so many characters that weren't the characters we were used to.
Well, and
Yeah.
I
And
think
there was a
that's-
lot of like
that
plot
was-
yeah.
development
I think
around
that's-
Jiren and Hit. Like Hit is fucking sick.
I think
Yeah,
if they
he was.
if
And
they
Juden
continue
was great.
Jiren
Yep.
was, or however you say that.
Yeah, Juden.
if they keep
Jiren,
going with
Jiren,
Super, if they keep
potato,
going with Super,
potato.
I think the Tournament of Power is going to be the important character introduction for all the new stuff.
Yeah.
and I
Because
think that's where we're going to get the most out of it.
Android 17 wished every universe back.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
And let's be honest, he was the fucking goat of
Oh, yeah.
the
That
entire
unlimited key
season.
that
The
unlimited
entire
key
season,
will fuck you up every time.
he was the goat.
MVP right there.
You know we can play Dragon Ball Tenkaichi 3 like
Yeah,
And that's got
Yo.
that was like the first game with 17 in it.
he was just. I don't know why they did that. I guess he was just such a loved character in the past
Yeah.
that they just were like, we need to make him one of the main ones because he just fell off the face of the earth.
the androids
all of a
are
sudden-
so much stronger than they were given credit for.
Yeah.
And that
They
was
have
that was
unlimited
such
key,
that was
Yeah.
such a good arc in Dragon Ball Z.
and you
The
hitting
android
them
arc?
charges
Yes.
them up.
Yeah.
It's like that's like
It was such a
whole
good
cool
arc in
ability.
Dragon
yeah,
Ball Z.
I felt more concerned about the androids than I ever did for Cell. Because
Fuck
like there's
Cell,
so
dude.
much like dark build up before it, and you're just like, oh no, the androids. We don't know a whole lot about them, but they're coming, and we're so scared. And then like you get them and you meet them, and they're kind of dark and they're kind of powerful.
But they're like regular people.
yeah, and they're creepy.
They were
Yeah.
regular
Strong
people.
as
That's
fuck.
the weird thing. They were
And then
regular
right into
people.
the Cell arc.
Huh?
Right into the Cell arc.
And then you
after
get
that.
right into the
Yeah.
Cell arc, and you
Yeah,
get this
it's like, okay,
pompous
they,
asshole.
They don't mean anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you're
Bye.
like, what the fuck?
You
but-
get
but
But that's
yeah.
the thing about Dragon Ball. It's like you thought this guy was scary.
But yeah,
Always
I didn't
give me
really,
this guy.
I didn't really care too much for the Tournament of Power arc, other than that I watched it and it was Dragon
The
Ball.
fights
It was
were
Dragon
so
Ball.
sick.
It was Dragon Ball. It was fantastic.
Yo, yeah, the fights were lit.
The
though.
fights were like the
They
best
really
Dragon Ball
were.
fights. Goku created a galaxy, harnessed the energy of that entire galaxy
And then
he
threw it at
created,
somebody.
and then threw it.
And the guy
Yeah.
threw it back.
Yeah, Jiren
Fucking
did.
threw that shit back.
And
It was like return to
he
sender.
was barely even fucking powered up.
I know.
Jiren.
I gotta say though, probably the coolest one was when what was their names? The other Saiyans.
Yeah.
When they
Khalifa? When
fused.
She goes
yeah.
all Broly.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
when
no.
she goes
when they
Berserker Saiyan.
when
Yeah.
they fused.
Yes.
When they used the Potaras.
That was
And
insane.
he like fucking skated across their blast and Kamehameha them right in the face.
Yeah.
That was the coolest shit I've ever
She
seen
was
in
cool.
any Dragon Ball
and
series.
that was a good hint of to
That
what
was
the
the
movie
baddest scene
of what the
ever.
movie is going to be about.
Yeah.
Because the movie
It's about
is
a
is
Saiyan.
about a
Saiyan God.
pure form Saiyan God.
Yeah.
A pure form Saiyan, just like how Broly was.
right.
And the thing
legendary
was,
Super
he
Saiyan.
he lived in one of the universes that got deleted,
Yeah.
and the wish brought him back. So now he's back, and he's got a vengeance. And
Did
there's your arc.
Did anybody know that shy girl might have been a pure Saiyan before? Because I didn't. I had no idea. But when she hit her Saiyan form, and you saw those blast of energy coming off of her, you
Yeah.
instantly knew
This is their universe.
that was
Broly.
Yeah.
that was Broly of
the
their
legendary
universe.
Super Saiyan.
That was
Yes.
their legendary Super Saiyan.
And
you
she-
instantly knew that because of the
Yeah, the
energy
way
she
that-
put off
Yep.
and the way she was.
Yeah. Complete opposite.
That was a
personality.
good. I will agree. That was a
Can
good
we?
fight.
Me and him have talked about this too. The emotional roller coaster that we're going to go on when Vegeta goes to the other universe's planet Vegeta.
And sees planet
Oh,
Sadala
man.
and meets their king
Yeah.
and see. I bet he cries. I'm betting
Oh, yeah.
real money that he cries
Yes.
on that
Because he
Probably.
episode.
promised he would go
Yes.
train those Saiyans.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did, and
Yeah.
he will. I'm sure he will
Absolutely.
He's also
in
going to be
due
our new
time.
god of destruction.
in due time.
Dude,
I think
Yeah.
he will be. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that was a really good when he trained.
The boy.
What's his name? Kaba.
Yeah.
yeah,
Kaba.
and taught him how to go Super
When
Saiyan.
he trained Kaba and taught him how to go Super Saiyan finally.
That was
and he fucking
awesome.
knocked back Vegeta.
He was like, "You're a fucking Saiyan."
Yeah, I was like, holy
I'm
shit.
gonna
if you give up now, I'll kill your entire family.
Yeah, he was like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll go destroy your planet, Sadala.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And he
It
was
really
like,
was.
remember that feeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
that was dope.
I think it's about time to wrap things up. But thanks, Corey and Devin, for coming
no
to hang out and
problem.
talk about
Oh, yeah,
anime with
Thanks,
us.
problem.
Weebs.
Um,
We appreciate you.
Someone's got to.
To all the fans out there listening, thanks for listening. Go check out our YouTube channel.
Check us out on Spotify,
Spotify.
Google Play, iTunes.
We're also on Instagram.
If you can connect to
Facebook.
it, Stuff and Things is there.
Yep, we're out there. Come find us.
All social media outlets.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're there.
We're on Reddit. We're on
Oh boy, are we on Reddit?
Instagram. We're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Come find us.
everywhere.
I had a good time when they told me they invited me to do this podcast. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do this.
Hell
I'll
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about anime all day. I can
Anime
do that.
themed podcast. I gotta be here.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That's a wrap.